What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Art Channel. Thank you so much for joining us today. Make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Andrew Marlowe Artist. So I've recently just cleaned up my studio, and in today's video I wanted to sort of open up the dialogue about why it's important to keep an organized studio. What are the benefits? What are you going to get out of it as an artist? And where you can actually take your art with a more organized studio. So let's get into the first aspect of this entire video. Why should you have an organized studio? Because an organized studio is going to lead you down the path of organized art, so to speak. If you have an organized studio, you're going to have the ability to create more art. You're going to be able to create art in a more efficient manner, and you're going to be able to have everything organized in a way that makes you feel like you want to create art. And there's really nothing worse than just walking into a messy studio. We have this image in our minds of sort of the old masters perhaps, or some of the crazy artists having these insanely ridiculously messy, untidy studios, like what we know about Van Gogh, for example, or perhaps Francis Bacon, or even somebody like Lucian Freud, who would just kind of wipe the paint all over his studio, which was kind of cool, but it just, in terms of, I think it speaks volumes about an artist's temperament and an artist's priorities, so to speak, if you can take a look at his studio and see that it's organized, and not every single person is going to be an organized person. Obviously not every single artist is the same, so you shouldn't feel like a bad artist if you're just not a super organized person. But if you're walking into a creative space that is just so much a mess that you don't feel like being creative, or that is just sort of chaotic in one way or another, it's not going to give birth to the best possible art that you can really reach. Now, obviously, a lot of people thrive off of chaos. People are hoarders. People like to keep things. People don't want to take the extra mile to be organized, especially in a studio space. But it's really, it speaks volumes about how you feel about yourself as a person also, and as an artist. Do you respect yourself? Do you respect your own art? And do you want to be creating art in a messy studio? I think that is going to show up somehow on the drawing board perhaps, or on the canvas or the sculpture, whatever it is you're creating in your studio. So you want to nurture that creative space, and part of that is just having a creative studio. Having a clean studio, so to speak. You want an environment that's going to make you feel inspired, so that you can work long hours, so that you can put in that time, and that you can also invite people into. Maybe you're working from life, or maybe you want to set up a still life or something. It's going to be hard to do that. You can't have live people in your studio if your studio is a complete mess, if it's not tidy in a way that's going to be presentable to people or to clients or whoever. Obviously, social media is a factor. We're constantly posting our pictures of art online, pictures of our studio, so that's going to be an end result, or that's going to be a factor that should motivate you to keep your studio organized, because you don't want to be posting messy, chaotic pictures of your studio on Instagram. At least I don't personally want to do that. So I do think the second aspect that I must delve into about having a clean and orderly studio is everything having a certain spot, everything having a place. I forgot what the expression is, but everything in its place, and everything has a place, or something like that. But it really speaks volumes to how your creative process is going to unfold. If your brushes are all over the room, your palette's over here on the wall, or you've got your canvases way over here, you have to have some kind of a cohesive structure, and then sort of a good flow, an open flow that is going to allow you to stand back from your canvas perhaps, get some room. Don't be crammed, like this up against your easel. Make sure, try to get as much room as you possibly can. Maybe you're living in a small apartment like I do, and you don't have a huge studio space. But hey, I've created my studio in my bedroom, and I've ordered it. My room is basically functions as my studio. I have my bed over here, and pretty much the bed and one little shelf, little dresser shelf for clothes is pretty much the only essential items I really need in my room to live in a non-art way. So everything else that is in my bedroom is for art. My easel, I have my spotlights, I have my black curtain behind the easel so that I'm not getting a ton of glare, and I just like to decorate the back of my studio with my own artistic production. So that's another really important aspect too about this whole video, is to decorate your studio in in a way that's going to inspire you. You know, I personally don't like to have a lot of junk just laying around, or just, I don't particularly like to keep a lot of unfinished paintings in here. Sometimes I'll set them in the other room so they can dry, so that I'm not breathing in the fumes. But as soon as the art productions are done, I'm more than happy to display them on the wall like I'm doing now with these. And this will make you want to get in the studio and get cracking on your canvases, get cracking on your sculptures or your drawings or your videos, whatever it is you're doing. So surround your studio with other artistic things. Maybe even that's not your own art. Maybe it's somebody else's art. Maybe it's plants. Maybe it's a special kind of wallpaper that you like. Maybe it's pictures of your family or loved ones. So decorate your studio in a way that's going to make you feel productive. Make it feel like a place that you're going to be willing to put in those hard hours, you know, because when you're in a creative space, when we're in our studios, it's pretty much us and the surrounding environment, and we've got the door closed and whatnot. Maybe we got the window open, hopefully, but it's a one-on-one interaction with your surrounding. So it has to be a place that you love to be in. My second advice is more about the organization of an actual studio, but if you're feeling cramped in your studio, maybe take a break for a few days, you know, set your studio up in a different spot and really analyze the space that you were originally working in. Take some pictures of it, get some feedback from people, and see if there's a way that you can rearrange your studio in a way that's more structured towards your art, that's going to make you more comfortable and it's going to make you less cramped. This original studio that was in here was much more cramped. Everything was reversed. I was painting over here, but there's a duct in the ceiling up here, so there's like this big thing that comes down, and it's like a big like extra layer of wall or ceiling rather, that sort of like cuts away, and it didn't leave me a lot of room to have a spotlight. It didn't really leave me a lot of room to really put my easel up high. So I came up with the amazing conclusion just to clean everything out, just revamp the entire space. It took a whole day and a half's work almost, but it was worth it because now I've got everything is reversed in my studio now, so I've got plenty of room to mix my colors over here and work with my, you know, I store all my art supplies over here, and then I've got the painting part of the studio over here. I've got enough room for the spotlight. I've got enough room to you know, crank up my easel if I'm working on really big canvases. So that's super important, to have a space that just flows. You know, if you're in a studio and it's in a room that just doesn't feel right, or it's messy, or it's moldy, or it's just smelly, or whatever the case is, or you're like having to share your studio with somebody else, or it's not going to be a very conducive environment to creativity. But obviously I know there's a lot of other situations. I'm fortunate to have my own bedroom. I know a lot of other people in other countries, they live in cramped conditions for one reason or another. So not everybody even has as much space as I do. So I'm so thankful that I do have this. I don't know how many feet it is, maybe 20 square feet or something each way, to really work on my creative craft. I got enough space in the closet here to store everything else I need, but I try not to keep things in the closet, obviously. But anyway, as far as the actual organization of the studio goes, keep things organized. You know, you'll be much happier to be in your studio. You'll be able to you know, create much better art, and you'll just want to be in here for long hours. You'll wake up in the morning and you'll just, you know, you'll have that feeling that you can't wait to get into the studio and start working. So leave me a like in this video, guys, please, and also please leave me a comment. Just let me know what your studio is like. What sort of things make you feel creative in the studio? Do you hang up your own art? Do you like to hang up other people's art? Do you like to hang up affirmations or prayers, or, you know, landscapes or other people's portraits? Or do you like photography? Or do you like to be in front of an open window? Are you like a nature plant type of person? So yeah, just leave me a few comments. Let me know what your studio is like, what makes you feel creative. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you guys in the next video.